Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a good whatever day this comes out. Hopefully it's Wednesday.
Of course, it'll be Wednesday. Hopefully not late like it's been the last couple of weeks, but it'll definitely be on the Wednesday. I can at least say that for sure.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not psychic, so who knows? Who knows what could possibly happen?
I sure don't.
But yeah.
But this is a this is a podcast all about tabletop RPGs, running them, playing them, our experiences in them to hopefully make it a bit easier for people to hop on the other side of the screen if you've got an inkling or inclination to do so. Of course, if you are someone who feels like you want to run a game, but you want to ask for some advice, or you feel like there's something stopping you, just maybe drop a comment about it below, and we will probably throw it into another episode and see if we can't, address it and maybe help some people out, because we want more GMs out there. We want more people to run games.
Yeah. The more people running games, the more people get into the hobby, and the cooler things just get, man. That's just it. You know, it's awesome that playing tabletop RPGs has grown in such like a crazy exponential fashion, and I'm loving it every minute of it. So.
Oh yeah, it is. It's my favorite thing to do. I don't know if I'm like slightly addicted to it in a way, but it is one of the best things out there. Just this collaborative storytelling gameplay element. It's I don't know. It can't be beat in my opinion. And I was up till like 3 a.m. last night doing a boss fight, and I can't think of a better way to spend my time. If I sound a bit tired or if my throat sounds a bit, not all there, it's because I had to do a big villain speech at like 2:30. So
nice. The classic monologue. Ha ha ha! Fools! You walked into the trap I've laid before you. You shall never stop me. That kind of thing, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Let me tell you exactly how to defeat me. But because I'm so arrogant, you totally can't do that.
Don't push that big button that says stop the ritual and kill the bad guy.
Yeah, it's not donkey. He says like you can't possibly stop me by pushing this red button that says stop my world-ending device.
I'm gonna put up a sign that points to the button so you know which button you won't be able to press.
Yeah, So yeah, man, I totally understand. It has become an itch to roll dice. It's you kind of, if you haven't done it in a while, you're like, need some of that plastic shapes. I need to hear the clanging of decahedrons, or whatever, polyhedrons, and the oohs and ahs of 20s and 1s, right? So yeah, man, totally get it, for sure. And that's why we need more DMs, and that's why this podcast exists, so we can talk about all of the cool things that we learned during being a DM, running in different systems, and trying to get that first-hand account information to you guys. Yes, there we go. And to do that, with this crazy cool transition to the weekly Win with Dice tip of the week. There
it is. I don't know if that's what it is, but sure, that's what it'll be this week.
I think so. Isn't it that?
I don't know. Don't ask me. Folks, I fell asleep for like an hour, like 20, like just before dinner, and I don't know if I fully waken up yet. So that's what it's called now. But yes, folks, the tip of the week.
Yeah. If you only made it this far, folks, you'll get the straight dope. At least one little pump of DM advice straight to your corduroids. I forget.
I don't know what that is. Anyway. I don't know biology.
Corduroids? I think I'm thinking about the pants, like corduroids. Anyway.
Ramon, do you have a tip for us this week?
I'm just stalling.
Oh, okay, good.
No, I'm joking. Yes, I do. So for the tip of the week, don't worry about balancing your encounters. don't even worry about balancing your player interactions. Don't even worry about any of that, because you are one brain and you're fighting probably 3 to 5 brains. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're only one person, and you have only so much thinking capacity, and your players have, they have a whole team to tackle whatever problem that you put in front of them. And, as a DM, your job is not to kind of plan out the sequence of actions that they could possibly take, right? It's like there's no way for them to know everything that you know, because you have, the omniscience of like the plot. Right? So, or like, the stats of the monsters, or like what would be effective, right? So, create something cool, create something interesting, and just put it in front of your players. Literally, they are designed by game designers to destroy anything you put in front of them, right? Like, the one thing that players do is kill monsters, right? Or, if that's the game that you're playing. But yeah, whatever they're intended designed to do, they have various ways of doing it. So, just throw whatever you want in front of them, and they'll dig deep and figure out a way out of it, right? It's like half the fun of running these games is, letting your, like, literally you don't know how they're going to get out of it. Like, you're going to be surprised, right? Right. And, what you have to be is receptive to their answers to your questions, right? Like, so it's like, if they have a cool idea and it seems plausible to you, run with it, man. That's the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we'll go into it more as I do my recap, because I did want to talk about like a boss fight that I was running last night. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, it's a single person up against a few other people. Even if they think the most tactically sound thing is to just run away, they are still going to have more minds on their side to figure out how to do that in the most effective way possible. They are going to have more turns before it comes back around. Again, this is dependent on the mechanics of the game that you're playing. This has been definitely my experience with like Pathfinder. I'm sure it's like similar with 5e or something like that. So yeah, I don't be too concerned with balance. Don't like underestimate your players, because more likely than not they will do something that'll either surprise you, or they will succeed in ways you could not have imagined before.
Yeah, man, and 20s are a thing. A couple players rolling hot could just demolish any well-tuned encounter anyway. So just throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Yeah,
basically. All right. So this week I can chat a bit about the Crown of Dragons campaign that I've been talking about on and off on here for a while now. Whichever episodes that was in. Yeah, I mean, I can just get right into it. The purpose, or the main plot of the campaign, as it stands right now, is that the players are tasked with recovering something that is totally not a ripoff of the Infinity Gauntlet, because it's a crown. It is a crown that can contain all the different colors of the orbs of dragonkind, and supposedly be used to control dragons from an incredible range.
Hey man,
this ancient weapon.
You're just searching for them Dragon Balls, It's like that one anime.
Yeah, Naruto.
Yeah, Naruto. Stop. Whatever, Calvin. You don't even watch anime?
No, I don't. I reach for the first thing I could find. I saw the first episode of JoJo. That was pretty good.
Oh my god. Calvin, you have to watch JoJo's. Please.
Look,
please.
Man,
if it's not for me, it's for your friends. It's for your friends.
I fell into the trap of watching Simpsons, and it's just such an easily bingeable show, because it's just like whatever every episode. I don't have to pay attention at all. No, this is way off topic. But anyway,
okay. Back to the Dracocoronum.
Yes, the Dracocoronum.
Yeah, search further. Yes.
I combined the words for dragon and crown in Latin, and thought it made me sound real smart. So
it's pretty cool, to be honest with you. Like, it's pretty dope.
as long as people believe that. But yeah, last time it was mostly a session involving like a specific battle because we were trying to get used to a new virtual tabletop. We started using the Foundry virtual tabletop for Pathfinder, which as I'm getting more used to it, it's definitely like incredibly convenient in so many small ways that I just don't know if I'm going to be able to go back. Like there's some minor things that at this point, I think it's just a matter of I don't know how to do this here, but there's probably a solution. But definitely I've had a bit more things that are like, oh, this is better. This is a bit easier.
Oh, cool.
It's just, it does have that barrier to entry of having to pay for it. But other than that, it's been, obviously like worth the money. But this session, we did get a lot more things done. Yep.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say sometimes you just got to pay for the right tools, right? You just know where to get around it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is how it is sometimes. Like the free stuff will work, but sometimes you might have to spend some money to get something better. But yeah, so this time we were able to do more plot stuff than just like one fight. We did 2 fights, actually.
Wow, 2 whole fights?
Yeah, man. Well, considering one of them was a boss fight, yeah,
that must have took you like 9 hours.
Yeah, we started at 7 and we finished at like 3 a.m. So.
Oh my god.
Oh man, everyone was
you guys are nuts.
Exhausted. We were gonna stop at like 2:30, and then we were like, one more round. Because they were really close.
Folks, that's so you know it's good.
Oh yeah, I didn't want them to stop. I really wanted them to do it, and then I didn't want to wait 2 weeks for our next session. But anyways, let's get into this. So the players are on a bit of a sidetrack now that they have they went off and did some research into the Dracoronum, just getting a sense of like where they might need to go next to recover each piece of it. But now they're sort of getting on track with that. So I wanted to sort of like wrap up a few things. I didn't want to leave like a billion different dangling threads lying around. So one of the major ones was this Wyvern who had sort of amassed this kobold army in one part of the map, which was really sort of like a random thing that they had come across a while back. It was like largely a random thing that I had come up with just as a thing that's like, because at the time it was like, well, I know they're traveling from this location to this location, so I wanted to set up like there's some stuff happening in different places. What can I go with? Wyverns are cool, so I'll put a Wyvern here. There's some plant creatures in one place that are like that's already like that's an ongoing thing in case they ever end up there. The situation there may have changed.
May just be more kobolds everywhere.
Yeah.
That kobold thing got out of control.
It really did. It actually did. Like, because you know how I like to use my my random encounter table when people are traveling. I had sort of like this alternate, like basically just table full of kobolds, pretty much. So some of the random things that could roll on it, it was mostly just replaced with like different kobolds because that's a significant issue ongoing in the area. Is these kobolds who are like
it's like roll a d20.
Yeah.
Yeah, like roll a d20. That's how many kobolds you fight.
You're not far off. Yeah, basically that. But yeah, so kobolds in the area were like kidnapping people and taking them to this Wyvern who had convinced them that he was a dragon somehow, and they were doing some ritual that would give this Wyvern full draconic powers. And this information was revealed to the players by when they had come across an old friend of theirs, someone who used to be a player character, but then the player had stopped playing, so they were an NPC now. And I was just kind of looking for an excuse to slot them in somewhere, and I had a really good spot to do that. So I brought them in, and I guess I can talk about them a bit more as we get into it, but that I was in a situation where like I didn't want them to feel like a quote-unquote DMPC, you know, like an NPC who's like overpowered and clearly a favorite and that kind of thing. Like I wanted them to be on par with the players, but I didn't want them to feel like they were stronger than the players. Because there was a moment like when everyone was gearing up, because I told them like you might have a major fight ahead of you, just FYI. So everyone was like buying stuff and gearing up and upgrading their armor and stuff like that. And I was figuring out like what I wanted to do with that character, but it was like, I feel like I will be cheating if I have this character do like literally anything. I was looking at like some spell strike arrows, and I was like, I don't know, because I don't know if it's cheating for me to put something powerful on a character that I'm controlling, even if it's someone who's helping the party. It just seemed a bit like happy.
I don't know. I think it's fine if it's on par for the character. Like if the character is a smart planner kind of character, having something that's useful for that specific moment makes sense, right? I mean, I probably wouldn't think about it beforehand, but I'd definitely be like, you know, Batmaning it out, like pulling out the shark repellent like right when it's needed, right? Like not because it's like I have to save these pieces ass. It's just like, you know, that's just the character it is, right? But if the character isn't like that, like isn't organized or thinks ahead, then like, I don't know, just go in there blind, dumb luck kind of person, right? But you know, also it could be one of those cool moments where like the players would be like, thank God that person's there. I mean, they're not really that major, but they just had the one thing to help us out, really, right? And things are really dire. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm cool with it. If you're not.
I don't know. Maybe I was overthinking. I was probably overthinking it, as I normally do. But I guess we could talk about them a bit when we actually talk about the combat. That's just something I was worried about, like, going into it. But before that, they had come across a situation where a bunch of people had been taken hostage by some kobolds. And that was basically what the previous session was doing that battle with those kobolds. A second wave of them showed up. They managed to fight them off and everything. As I was getting used to this virtual tabletop. So we actually got into doing some RP with those people that they rescued. So again, what I'm really enjoying about playing in this homebrew world is that I have a bunch of different NPCs and characters I can pull on. So especially in the area they are now, because I've had 2 campaigns go through that area. So I have some NPCs that I made that I have left over, or their stories are just like floating in space there, and it's like, well, where are they now? What can I do with them now? So the people that were rescued, because you were playing in my Quest of the Fateseer game, so there were some people who you might have recognized if you were in that session. That one apothecary person, that alchemist that you bothered late at night because you needed them for a quest or something. That catfolk,
that guy.
Alchemist, yeah. They were one person who was kidnapped there, and also Quentin, that ranger that I forget the name of your character who died, unfortunately, but he was from the same town as that person. Just because it was like, I was looking at like, who do I have in this area? Oh, I have this person. Oh, I have this person. I don't know what they're up to now, but maybe I'll just slot them in here.
Yeah, honestly, I forgot the person, my first character in that campaign. I cannot remember
the first PC that I killed.
Yeah.
It was a long time
ago. It was a downward.
Yeah,
it was a long way down after that. It's
because I'm on to 3 now.
Just like now, there's just bodies and bodies of PCs. Calvin, so vicious.
Look, I'm not trying to be. But yeah, and then there was also a couple of cart drivers who I've used multiple times in different campaigns. Again, just really the benefit of this homebrew world is just like, oh, I can bring up this person and this person, and sometimes it is like just for me that it only really works or has any sort of effect. Especially with the party that in this campaign having changed so much, so like only one person recognized the cart drivers, and they had some back and forth discussion because the PCs did sort of try to steal some stuff from them, but they weren't able to do so. So there was like a bit of bristling, but they were still on like, at least they were on neutral terms when they had left, so they were certainly on good terms now. But yeah, so they caught up with those people, and then they headed off. They were doing some traveling. They did take another kobold with them, much like one that they took before. That one red kobold who was the only one who was smart enough to realize, hey, dragons have 4 legs. This is clearly a wyvern because he only has 2.
Hey, wait a minute, I can count.
Yeah, he's the smartest of all the kobolds, but unfortunately he was ousted from the tribe, and he hung out with the PCs for a bit, and then they sort of like, they left him behind in a town. They left him at a temple to Sarenrae to help sort of like rehabilitate him and stuff like that. So, he was sort of, he was sort of doing his own thing over there. And then they pretty much came across another one who was one of the ones who had tried to ambush them at some point. They got some information out of him, and they were like, let's see if he can run like a kobold rehab, I guess.
just capture them and send them to the church.
Basically.
Okay.
So yeah, they started traveling again, like with this kobold in tow, along with the people that they rescued. They stopped at one of the small towns in the area just to rest up and, recover and get some of their, replenish some of their gear and some of their gear and rations and stuff. They talked to this kobold. They tried to sway him by giving him drinks and saying, hey, you can live better with in civilization instead of allying yourself with this evil wyvern. They also tried to impress him with some lightning magic, but it wasn't nearly as cool as dragon blasts. But they were making some inroads.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
They did also find out.
Sounds like your players aren't as. It sounds like your players aren't as bloodthirsty as I'm used to.
Yeah, right. I mean, at least.
Yeah, they're like, hey man, just come hang out with us. It's way better over here. Slowly building their own kobold army.
I mean, it is one of the things I like about this party, the unpredictability. They didn't have to keep this guy, but they chose to, and now it's like, well, what's he going to do now? Where is he going to go? I don't know. Heck if I know. But yeah, that's what I like about this game. It just keeps me on my toes. So yeah, then they were asking around a bit about the kobold army and stuff. They learned some more about some people who had been taken. There was one person who had a personal connection to someone who had been taken. And they sort of asked the PCs to bring this person back, just to add that little bit more pressure. But the next day they got up, patched themselves up, did some shopping, small town stuff, and then they started traveling.
Small town stuff. Oh yeah, I just gotta get my sword sharp and small town stuff.
Yeah, fantasy small town stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, they sort of started traveling, and they went into the first combat of the game. So again, because they're traveling, I'm rolling on my random encounter table. I get an encounter, but because they do have this kobold with them. Instead, they got a warning that, hey, there's something up ahead. This kobold, who they had been friendly enough to, that he would give them a warning about, hey, we usually ambush people over here, if you want to avoid that sort of thing. And then it was just a matter of well, how do they want to approach this? I thought they would just go around it or something, and it would just be a series of stealth checks and a stealth encounter like that. But they wanted to just ambush the ambushers. Which is okay. So yeah, we got into that combat.
Nice.
Pretty simple, straightforward one. Not too dangerous compared to what they faced before, but yeah, they handled it pretty effectively. Again, this party, they're very good at tactics, which is why I'm starting to be less and less worried about balance, because again, between all four of them, they're going to outthink me at some point. It's just 4 heads against 1. They're going to outthink me. So, yeah, pretty simple combat. They got to the town where they had left the other kobold, Tilto, before. So they got to catch up with him. So I got to show off that, hey, he is a level 1 paladin now. Or champion in Pathfinder 2e terms.
Tilto!
Yeah!
Tilto! He did it. I always believed in Tilto. He's my favorite character.
He's still very fragile, but he is now a level 1 champion of Sarenrae.
Slowly. This kobold will rise to the top.
Right?
Become the protector of the land. Tilto the kobold.
I hope so. I like him. He also, before the party left, one of them had mentioned that he should be, an entertainer or something like that. Just to give him, something to do, something that maybe he could try out, and Tilto seemed really interested in it. So he's been helping also to, rebuild a theater that got damaged from a kobold attack, because he wants to perform there. I have a lot of theaters in my
campaign.
campaign.
This guy just keeps getting better and better. Like every small town just has a theater.
Sort of. Like the city they were just in was sort of in this.
We're into the arts.
Situation.
That's like a bad thing, man, because you're gonna have to start coming up with like, what's the play that's happening today?
Oh gosh.
This town.
Yeah, when they go back there, I gotta figure out a name for a play. Oh no, that's future Calvin's problem.
Oh no.
Nice. But yeah, what also happened with Tilto is because, again, a ways back, one of the player characters left the party after a rather stressful situation after another PC died, and then they got into a bar fight and stuff, and then they ended up just like absconding in the middle of the night. A while ago, I'm sure I've talked about this. That was the brief PC on PC combat that only was like a couple of rounds. So I, again, because it's me, I have been tracking like where this person is at all times. But they did pass through.
I just like to think that you have like a, just have like a whiteboard with, or like a cork board with a bunch of strings. Like this person's going this way, but this person's going this way, and everything's just like moving.
Yep.
This web of people traveling.
Ramon, you are not far off.
Oh my God, Calvin. Even if you didn't do that, nobody would even notice. Like,
exactly, I know. Like, there's other things that are like other time bombs going on. So I have a page in my notes that's just like reminders of like, here's the day that this thing is probably going to happen. So I know like what days he's going to be where, because I went and did the travel math of calculation, like how long it'll take for him to travel to different places.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
Okay.
But one thing I got to do was, because so the player said something really interesting after that other player character death, because that character was in the party because the first PC that I killed was his cousin. So after that other PC death, he said, "Death surrounds all of you," and I was like, "Wow, that's really dramatic. I'm gonna remember that and write that down." So when he came through town, he had given Tilto a warning. He said, like, death. He told Tilto that same thing. Death surrounds all of them. Tilto wasn't entirely like swayed by it, but he did seem a bit worried about it. So we brought it up. They had a small conversation about it. Which was I think a pretty interesting moment. I don't know if they remembered saying that, to be honest, but you know, they seem to enjoy the moment nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty cool saying to just say that and then just dip. Like, it's like, oh, yeah. That hurts.
That's basically what happened. But yeah, so he is still this thread. I know where he is. I know what he's doing. I don't know if it'll come up, but I hope it does. So after they dealt with things in the town, they left the other kobold behind in the care of Tilto now. So I don't know. Maybe he'll follow Saren Ray. Maybe he'll follow someone else. He was really interested in drinking.
This will be level 2, and he'll be level 1.
Yeah. He could be.
Every time they come back and visit Tilto, he just gets stronger and stronger. Yes, the Rise of Tilto. That's what you should rename your campaign.
Rise of Tilto.
Yeah.
That's one of the plot threads in the campaign. The Rise of Tilto.
Yeah, it's like how strong is Tilto gonna get, and is he the main character? Really, that's what we should be discussing.
He should.
My vote is yes. He should be the character.
He absolutely should be.
I mean, if anybody should have the Draco Coronum, it's Tilto, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, he does have the dragon blood in him.
Yeah, I'll be King Tilto. That'd be great. Yes.
I think he's earned it.
King of all the dragons. This small kobold.
What a reversal that would be, eh?
I know. What a crazy cool story it would be. Like, man, I really hope nothing bad happens to Tilto. I'm really invested right now.
Oh, I hope so too. I gave him stats just in case they wanted to bring him. Fortunately, they didn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, in Foundry, it was like super easy to do because it was just like I just created the character, and then I click and drag. Oh, he's a champion. Oh, he has this background. He's a kobold. Drag that onto He has this equipment, dragged that on, calculated everything for me. Really super nice. Again, really a big fan of playing Pathfinder on Foundry. I did also install Starfinder, so I want to get into checking that out because I might run in there. I wasn't a big fan of the Roll20 sheets for Starfinder. They were a bit overcomplicated for my tastes. So I'll see if Foundry is better.
They totally are, unfortunately.
Like, I'm sure they're useful if you get used to them, because I tried watching like a stream that played in Roll20 on Starfinder, and I'm sure you can get used to them because they seem like they were, but it's just like, I don't know if I want to onboard players for that, if I could find something simpler.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, they geared up and they fought some more kobolds, and then they brought the other kobold to Tilto now has a squire, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now they're, I'm assuming, heading towards the final confrontation with
Kaivanth, the Dragon King, King of the Kobold Conclave, Blue Dragon Ascendant, all sorts of titles.
Did you have one of the kobolds listed off, or did he say it himself?
He said it himself. What do you mean?
I don't just feel like just one kobold who just like stands at like a top of like the cave and he's like, "Fear my dark lord, the greatest." Like just like goes off and like introduces him like he's like you know, it's like wrestling and he's coming in like.
No, he's too self-centered to let someone else announce him. But yeah, we flim-flammed the next few days of travel because, like, calculating it out, it would be like 4 days to get to the lair. And I was like, okay, I really want to do this fight this session. Do we want to just, like, skim the travel? And we were okay with it. So I was able to just do, like, a montage of travel as they were making their way across, describing, like, different battles they may have come across, ambushes they may have tried to avoid, things like that. Until essentially they got to the location of where I had planned the battle. Using the same combat map that I did when they first fought the Wyvern. So, like, at this point, they tried to stealth their way in, you know, like a smart party. Unfortunately, I was sort of leaning on, like, the group stealth checks that I think are in 5e. Which is, I think it's like, if more than half the party fails, then it counts as a failure. At least that's what I think it is. I just saw a Reddit comment and I was like, that seems simple enough to do, so.
I mean, that's cooler than take the lowest. I think that's better. That's way better than take the lowest, right? Like, I like that. I think I might take that and use it next time when I'm running Pathfinder. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it helped because, like, with that other NPC with them, it was 5 people. So I was able to be like, oh, 2 succeeded but 3 failed, so it's a failure. I don't know what I would have done if it was an even number, to be honest. I probably would have looked at like how badly they failed or something like that, but luckily I didn't have to worry about that in the moment. Yeah, I don't really know how to do group stealth, if I'm being honest. I saw that rule and I was like, easy enough to do. I could just do this on the fly. I don't know if there's
because it'd be hard to track it individually, right? It would have to be a situation where you only check stealth when it matters, right? It's like when they're gonna hit someone to actually hear them, right? And then that's when you roll it, and then whoever failed is noticed. But I guess they're all standing next to each other, so then it's like
it's very likely that if some of you get noticed, you're all gonna get noticed because someone's like looking in that direction at you. Next to everyone else.
Right. Yeah, it's not just like, I only see one person out of 5, right? Like
this person who's standing there on their own and several cardboard boxes that came out of nowhere.
Well, you could also like RP it as like, you know, your stealth rolls is really just you at the last second ducking into cover or whatever, right? So it's like you could then say that you're within line of sight blocking whatever. You're like crouched down or like right behind like a corner or like in the shadows, right? And it's like whoever failed is just caught out in the open, and then you could just roll from there with that. That's also like a solution.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that I have to figure out. And you know what? It's probably going to be one of those things that's somewhere in the Pathfinder Game Master's Guide that I just don't know about, to be honest.
Yeah, sure. They probably do give some tips on group roles. Actually, I might maybe I'll make that the next GM tip of the week. Next week.
Ooh, group roles.
We'll talk about group roles. Yeah.
Look forward to that next week. So they did get spotted, unfortunately, which meant the mage who was doing the ritual to give Kaivanth draconic powers was just gonna get started on it, and then had everyone roll initiative, and then we got into it. So there was a ton of strategizing before and during the battle, which is how I knew, like, I can't outthink these people, because they're... I gotta say, like, you know, they're smarter than me. I'll be completely honest. I think as a group, they are smarter than me.
They're literally, like, a SEAL team of monster killing. Like, they're scary people, because they fight the dragons and stuff all the time. Like, everything on their character sheet is delete this thing. Right? Like... You know, so yeah, man. Like PCs, like everyone's like GMs are scary. No, players are scary, man. Like, ugh.
I mean, you're not wrong. And there was part of me that was worried because I didn't want to kill anyone again. Like.
But hey, man, listen, you gave them, if you did end up killing one of them, it's Kaivanth, the Dragon Ascendant. I mean, he has 5 names. He should be able to kill a PC as well. They knew about the guy beforehand, right? And like, you know, if at that point, you know, both sides are you know, super heavyweights swinging, you know, who knows? Bad stuff happens, right?
Yeah, I mean. Stuff happens. And stuff certainly did happen. This was the first... because, you know, I have my music playlist that I play through Discord. This was the first time I went through my entire playlist. That doesn't usually happen, because it's like a little over an hour long, and I was like, wow, I went through my whole playlist there. But yeah, so a lot of planning going into it. I was a bit flexible with Table Talk, because I knew they were, you know, nervous and stuff. So essentially, here's the situation going on, is that the mage, with a bunch of the people that the kobolds had kidnapped, he was doing something to them that created like these arcane tethers between the different people and Kaivanth. So for like 3 whole rounds, and this was something I was worried about too, is for like 3 whole rounds, they didn't touch the guy who was casting the ritual. There were like a bunch of other dudes on the field, of course. Kaivanth himself was just chilling in the middle of this space and being... like having this power shoved into him. Like for 3 rounds, Kaivanth and this mage didn't do anything but this ritual, and I was a bit worried because I was like, oh, I thought they would go for this guy first, because the mechanics of it, as they sort of learned as they went into it, was that every time this mage spent a full round just doing this ritual, he created some tethers, and each of those tethers represented a round that Kaivanth would be at draconic power. So essentially...
Oh, like draconic mode, Kaivanth.
Yeah. So, like, because he was able to finish 3 full rounds of that, Kaivanth ended up being able to have 6 rounds of dragon power. And, you know, I was also tracking, like, because, again, I have a bunch of people there, so I was tracking, like, the names of people and who is tethered and whatnot. So, like, what I was doing was that I had the NPC in the party, the former player character, I had them focusing on this mage. And I don't know, like that's what they would have done, because they have seen this and they warned the player characters about this particular ritual ahead of time. So it's like, logically, they know what this is, they're going to attack this mage. But unfortunately, they weren't able to kill the mage in time. And that was a point where I was wondering, like, do I have this person under-leveled for this situation? Because they should have had, like, I don't know, they should have had a better short bow or something, or maybe I should have understood how to play rangers better, or they should have had some spell strike arrows or something.
Honestly, rangers are a little bit underpowered, I think, in Pathfinder 2E. So, like, it might not be your fault. It could just be like Pathfinder 2E's rangers aren't as, you know, put people in the ground as they could be. Right? Because they have a bunch of, like, other abilities, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So
I did have her, like, shooting, like, a whole lot of arrows. Well, not a whole lot of arrows, like 3 arrows each turn, but I was able to get like a +2 on the first shot, and then because there, for people who don't know, I guess, in Pathfinder you have like 3 actions per turn, and if you just do multiple attacks, there's usually a penalty on your attack roll. But the ranger has an ability that if they are shooting a certain targeted creature, that penalty is much less than it would be for a normal character. So normally it would be -5 and then -10, or -4 and then -8. For the ranger, it's -3 and then -6. And then I can very easily get +2 on the first shot. So like I'm out there just fishing for crits with that +2, because with Pathfinder 2e you can get a crit if you're 10 over someone's AC. So that's basically what she was doing all the time, is just like fishing for crits. And she had the attack rolls to do it. It's just that her weapon wasn't doing like a whole ton of damage because it was like a very basic weapon.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, she wasn't able to kill the mage before the ritual was complete. She did kill him after, luckily, but by that point, like, there were still a bunch of smaller dudes on the field, and Kai Vanth had gone into full dragon mode. So I think I talked briefly about this with you before, but I didn't fully describe what I was doing, probably.
Yeah.
So basically what I ended up doing with him is I took the stats of a typical CR6 Wyvern, and I applied the Dragon Form spell to it. I think it's like a primal spell or something like that. But there's a spell that gives someone Dragon Form, and it enhances their abilities in certain ways, and it gives them different draconic attacks and things like that. So it's just like, oh, okay. Because I was between doing that or just fully using the stats of a young blue dragon. But really, they were actually pretty comparable. Yeah. I don't have my notes in front of me, so I can't bring up specifically the comparison between them. But they were close enough that I could say, like, yeah, this is pretty comparable in terms of power. I think it was that the actual blue dragon stats had a higher... No, it had a lower attack roll, but different damage dice. It was something like that.
Well, I mean, it's cool too, because then it's like you can explain to your players who's like a wizard or something that like he's just casting the draconic form spell with this ritual, right? But like it's so it's kind of like a cool kind of meta, but like in story kind of thing, where it's like maybe when players get high enough to cast that spell, they're like, cool, I could be like Kai Vanth or whatever, right? Get some Kai Vanth power in them
without having to sacrifice someone.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, so he was just doing that. The first thing he did, because he was getting blue dragon power, so he got lightning, which is a line attack, and all the PCs, I don't know how they ended up doing this, but literally everyone was in a line. So I was like, okay, gang, here it comes.
Because he's Kai Vanth, the dragon ascended. He's so powerful.
Although what really bothered me is because Wyvern, like, the attack is supposed to use like your class DC or your spell DC or something like that, and Wyverns typically don't have one. So I had to hack it a bit, and it ended up being a really low number, and everyone managed to save from this line, and I was like, damn it, I really wanted that. I really wanted to hurt them.
What? No, Calvin.
I know, I should have just made it higher,
you should
but...
just use the...
No, like
but you should have just used the DC. There's like a DC chart. Did you use that?
I
for like the level?
Did not. You know what? I should have. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I did not.
Yeah. There's like a basic.
Yeah, no, the class DC.
There's like a kind of more complicated. There's a basic one that's like pretty chill. The level DCs. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it
I use
that
like one all the time. Like I have it like.
Yeah,
I keep that thing on like a post-it note, like right next to me, in case I'm like, I don't know, making up some shit. Let's just see what it's, how I feel.
You know what? I actually did end up having to use that a whole lot recently, so I don't know why I didn't think of that when I was making Kai Vanth, and then I went into it thinking like, past Calvin definitely did this correctly. If I had thought of it like literally 24 hours before, I probably would have done that. But anywho. But it was fine because his attacks, I think Kai Vanth's thing was that he had the higher attack but different dice, or the other way around. I don't remember. But yeah, like I knew his claws and stuff were going to be putting the hurt on someone, and they really did. So what I wanted to do is, like, the first person who actually damaged Kai Vanth was the person who's playing a witch. So, you know, they're a mage. They don't have a whole lot of AC and armor and health and stuff. So,
oh my God,
like...
that poor witch.
Yeah, he was like looking right at them. But unfortunately, the fighter was in front, as fighters are supposed to be. So, yeah, Kaivan was just tearing into this guy. And because he's empowered with, you know, his blue dragon form, his teeth are doing piercing and lightning damage. And doing pretty significant damage besides. So this fighter, after having he was having some bad luck with his rolls in that fight, not gonna lie. There was one moment where he got a couple of good kills in at some of the like minions and stuff, killing 2 of them in one turn. But against Kaivanth himself, not having a whole lot of luck. He definitely went down. He went down twice. He was like up and down in the fight. And then it gave me a moment to read my evil bad guy speech that I basically stole from a song that is another evil bad guy speech. Nice. So he's like, yeah, my ascension to dragonhood is inevitable. There's nothing you can do to stop me. Worship my magnificence. You know, bad guy crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely he was up and down, but people were trying to like take out the other guys. This is where the ranger came in handy because she was able to help like mop up some of the minions and stuff. Except for one that got really lucky. It had like 1 hit point left, and I was like, man, I wish that guy was dead. But I couldn't cheat it.
I mean, you could have just said it was dead.
I know, I could.
God,
that's not me
on some mook that won't impact the battle. He just
he did impact the battle. Man. He kept casting fear on the fighter, which was like a real pain in the ass when he was already rolling bad.
True, but you know, like, come on, man.
No.
Help brother out. Poor fighter.
Never. I'm not here to help.
Do it themselves.
So yeah, like fighter went down a couple of times. There was one moment, like, because after the fighter was unconscious again, the Wyvern basically turned towards the witch. And again, I had to keep reminding myself because I didn't want to do it, but it was like, no, this is what Kaivanth is gonna do. He's gonna hurt these people. So he was in position to do that thing where, you know, they take a couple actions to swoop down and do their claw attack, and then they can move and they can either like drop the person or swing their tail at them. So I had done that to the fighter and taken them down, which was pretty neat. So I was looking at the witch and I was like, I could do something really terrible here, and I ended up deciding to do it. So Kaivanth, he flies across the field because he has this incredible fly speed. He claw attacks the witch, does some damage to her, and then he flies straight up in the air and drops her.
Nice.
It was pretty brutal, and that was kind of the moment where they were like more seriously debating just running the hell away, like getting the fighter up and getting out of there.
Yeah.
I did have to like just give them a hint that, hey, you saw how fast this guy could move. Just putting that out there. This guy can for sure move way faster than all of you.
You stepped to him. You gotta finish what you started, man.
You came into his house.
Ain't taking no shit. You came into his house. While you fronting on me, Kaivan.
Yeah, man.
Dragon Ascendant.
Yeah, like that was, oh man, and then that was when it was getting like super late, and they were debating like stopping. Like I didn't want to stop in the middle of the fight, but it did get to the point where like Kaivanth was the only one left, and they were focusing on him. The fighter did try to like distract Kaivanth at one point, and I was like, "Do you really want to do this? This seems like a bad idea for you." I mean, you know, because you're at wounded 2. You really want to go down again? I mean, I'll do it. So yeah, I had him roll a check to try and convince him, which he failed, luckily for him. Because Kaivan, like the dive attack that I don't think it was a Wyvern thing, I think it was a dragon. No, it is a Wyvern thing. Yeah, it's a Wyvern thing. They do need to move like 20 feet forward and 10 feet down before they can do it. So the position they were in, because they were going to attack that witch again. They were going to attack that witch for daring to hurt Kaivanth. But the position they were in after dropping the witch, like they couldn't move forward 20 feet to do it. They had to like take an action to position themselves. So, like, if they attacked the fighter, they would have had enough room to swoop and then do the claw attack and then do something else. But if they attack the witch, then they have to take an action to move, and then they can do the swoop. And then he'll be on the ground. So I was like, you sure you want to do that? But, you know, he went for it. He failed the check, so, you know. Yeah, at this point, like, everyone's focusing on the Wyvern. Everyone's doing their different things. Everyone's just, like, going at him. It got to the point where it was super late, but I saw how much HP that Kaivanth had, and he was on his last round of having draconic powers, and his breath weapon had just recharged. So I was like, we could keep going. I was really nudging them to keep going because something was gonna happen either way. And again, I was describing like these tethers that had been created between Kaivanth and the commoners that the kobolds had kidnapped. As each round ended, or as each of his turns ended, I should say, one of the tethers would break, and then the person it's connected to would just like collapse onto the ground, and they would be in a state of dying. They might not necessarily be dead. They were rolling some death saves, so you know we'll see how that goes for them. Mm-hmm. But there was like literally one left, and he got his weapon back. And he's on the ground, so he can be attacked. So I wanna talk about the last thing that happened in this fight. The fighter was going before Kaivanth because he got knocked down by Kaivanth, and you're supposed to move someone's initiative order when they get knocked unconscious, which is a thing that I will remember now. So he was like at the top of the round, the first one to go before Kaivanth. Kaivanth was second in the round. I saw how much HP Kaivanth had, but the fighter was a bit further away, but he was hasted. So I was like, you could do this. You could take your turn if you want. He looks pretty rough right now. I know it's like 3 a.m, but you could take your turn, see what happens. So the way the map was shaped, there was like a small sort of ravine in the middle of it. It wasn't super deep, but he would need like a very simple athletics check to jump over it. But he was hasted, so he had 4 actions. So let me just say, he moved. He made the check to jump over very easily. He had 1 attack on Kaivanth. He went into it with a slash. Didn't get a crit, so he didn't do as much damage as he wanted to. But I'm looking at Kaivanth's HP. I'm looking at this guy, and it's like he went for the second attack, and he rolled a 1. And I was like, oh no, because I didn't want to kill that one last person. And the weapon was ready, and I was just like, oh man, I'm going to have to use my claw attack on this guy again, and I'm probably going to knock him down again. He's already at wounded 2. But we do have hero points that we started playing with. Oh. And they were mostly saving them for their own death saves, because if you spend all your hero points, then you can automatically stabilize from death save. Or you can spend 1 to get a reroll. So I was like, hey, don't forget. Don't forget, you have a hero point. So he spent that point, and he went in for the attack, and man, he got that final killing blow on Draco Kaivanth, Blue Dragon Ascendant.
Nice.
It was just
all his hubris.
Because here's the thing, at this point, like, everyone is exhausted because we're up super late. Everyone's just like in this crazy emotional state, like. They were as tired as their player characters were. And I don't know, I was fully charged, man. I don't know what to say. Like, I was super pumped up. It was incredible. The way he, like, just the concept of that turn, running, leaping across this chasm, and then just like 2 slashes of the sword bringing down this powerful enemy. The lightning fading from his eyes. Like, you can't top that.
It's awesome.
Where else? How else do you top that? Like, where can you get a better experience than just you're there with your friends, you're creating this incredible story with them of everybody coming together, doing their best to take down this powerful enemy who's just been tearing through all of them, seems to be basically unstoppable, and at the end, this incredible moment with this character who just lands this final killing blow and then like collapses in exhaustion. Like, where you can't top it just by seeing it in a movie or reading it in a book or even playing it in a video game. Like, it has to be this thing where it's all your imaginations coming together at once to create this incredible battle. Like it was just too great.
Oh man, like just hearing about it secondhand is like getting me really hyped. So like, yeah, like you know what I mean? Like, it's so cool. Shit, I love those moments. Those are my favorite moments. It's just like, you know, right at like, you know, at the very last moment, like things are all good. Like if you miss, it's over, right?
Yeah.
It's like the do or die, right? And it's just like, you know, roll that one, you know, take a deep breath and pop that hero point and just like let's go. Like,
right? Because if he had failed, either I'm gonna claw attack him and he's gonna go into dying and it'll start like a couple dying levels higher because he's at wounded 2, so who knows what'll happen there. Or I'll use the breath weapon again, and even though the DC is low, it does more damage than the actual young blue dragon does. So like, who knows what could have happened there. But and of course also it would have like put that last commoner into the dying position. So just an incredibly heroic moment. I don't even have anything to say anymore. Yeah, it can't be beat. It cannot. Yeah,
man, that's crazy too. Because like, oh man, like you guys, they fought that Wyvern like way before and got their asses handed to them. And like they got their shit together. I mean, a couple different characters later, but they got their shit together, and you know, put the hurt on this guy, and finally put him down for good, right? Like this is like the beauty of this kind of thing, where it's just like you get to like, you know, I don't know, take revenge. Like you get to like they physically, like they literally did something they could not do like at the like earlier in this campaign. Like I love like when they get to the point in like campaigns where they can just double back and be like, look how cool we are now, right? The real sense of time progressing, like them actually getting better. It's like
it's like good. In game, it was like 40-ish, like a little over 40 days ago, that Kaivanth killed that member of their party, and then they just came back later, different people, more tactically minded, and then they just put him down. Even at his most powerful, because Kaivanth was in full dragon form for that entire battle, basically. Because he got Mace spent like 3 full rounds just charging him up. And he was at full power that entire time. And they took him down, and...
Yeah, they did it. They fought a pseudo-dragon. I mean, it's getting pretty close to fighting a real dragon, but like, yeah.
They're getting there. Because like so far, the 2 actual deaths that have been in that campaign have been a wyvern and a drake, so it's draconic creatures. But now they're pushing back, so like I have a better sense of where their upper limits might be, because they fought something comparable to something that's like 3 levels over them, essentially. It had a bit less HP, but it had better damage die, so it's something comparable. So I know like, okay, so they could probably go up a few steps higher than what I normally would have assumed. Which is good, because I have a dungeon planned for them as well.
Nice. I always love dungeons. They're exciting.
Yeah. Especially I want to play with the lighting tools for Foundry, so that dungeon's going to be a lot bigger than I originally meant for it to be.
Now you're like, yes, creating more work for future Calvin.
Yeah, but he'll enjoy it, probably. But yeah, that's
2 hours before the session. Oh God, why'd I do this?
You know, that's how it always goes. But yeah, that was that session. It was just incredible to see everyone coming together, trying to figure things out. Like even the Druid's companion was like stuck in a battle with a kobold back and forth for a while, which is pretty funny.
Nice. They're just dogpiling each other, rolling around. Like,
and the bard's doing like his different status effects and things, and just they're all really they're really like tactically minded players. It's really cool to see everything come together like that. I'm so proud of them. Nice. I gave them some bonus XP, considering Kaivanth is sort of an enemy that's existed for like several sessions at this point. I don't remember what session it was in where they originally fought him.
Listen, Kaivanth wasn't like the first arc of this story, like
Basically.
like actually, like to me, from the recaps, like Kaivanth was like the first turning point of like, oh god, that's a bad guy. Like,
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Looking at my notes, I think they fought Kaivanth in session 10, and the one where they killed him was session 23.
They went like halfway around the world first, too.
Yeah.
They came back.
Oh man, it was
Nice.
It was an incredible moment. And they also got some bonus XP for helping that kobold. They wanted to level up really bad, and they might have if they didn't just level up like 2 sessions ago. But they did get a whole lot of XP.
Yeah, I mean, they deserve it. I mean, I feel like that's the thing too with calculated XP. Like sometimes like it won't align with like the plot when you feel like, you know, you just took down Kaivanth, you guys should get a level up because that was significant.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, them's the breaks.
Yeah, I'm always on the fence with that sort of thing because it's like, well, this is clearly a moment where they should level up, but this is like one of the very few clear level up moments. Otherwise, it's just like, was that just like a tough fight that, you know, you just deal with, or was that a tough fight that like, hey, you deserve more abilities for? That's kind of why I fell into the XP thing, because it's just like, it just makes that easier.
That's true. Well, I mean, like, realistically, like, XP and leveling up your players is really just allowing you to be more flexible with the next encounter, with the next stage of your plot, right? It's like, well, now it's like, you know, I was debating on putting one of these guys in, but now they leveled up, I could put 2 for sure. Like, you know, it makes you feel a little bit better throwing more cool crap at the players, right? So like, I don't know, I'm always, as weird as it sounds, like, as a, like, the fun for the game is like arming my players with nukes and seeing if they can defeat things that they probably shouldn't. Like, so, you know, like, you know, I don't know if they're actually going to succeed. I mean, they could just like floop and like miss a whole bunch and then get their asses handed to them, or they could just, you know, land all the shots and then destroy whatever is in front of them. But, you know, that's like the gamble I like to play. So at least in Pathfinder, in that fantasy sword and board kind of setting, because the pace of combat it's a little bit different than that for instance like Lancer is.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like they're definitely a thing with like different between systems. I gotta figure out what to reward them with, which is a whole other thing. One thing that I'm definitely bad at.
Oh, you should reward him with some cool dragon powers. like oh man, Calvin, you should give, I mean, oh dude, you should, like, if they can get his like skull or something, it should be like the skull of Kaivanth and let them like shoot lightning breath once in a while, or like maybe like get like his claw or his scales or something and turn him into like a shield or like a weapon that they can like shoot lightning out of. I don't know. I'll do that shit all the time. Rewarding players and be like, you killed a bad guy. Well, here's like a drop, a themed drop from this bad guy. It's like, you know that cool thing he was doing? Well, you could do a kind of thing like that now, you know. So it kind of like marks it, like you can take like a significant you know, battle and kind of like literally like wear it on your chest, right? Like as like a laurel of your victories, and it'd still be tactically useful. That's like what I want to do with it.
I mean,
I don't know, Calvin, do whatever you want.
You're giving me ideas for sure. I'm just gonna say that. I gotta figure out how to do custom items in Foundry. I'm sure it's doable, but it's just a thing that I don't know how to do yet. It's definitely doable.
Yeah.
So, maybe I'll do that. I mean, they found a necklace of fireballs, so it's not like it's not like they have nothing.
Those are like problem-solving tools. It's like a problem-solving tool.
Yeah, they found it in
a necklace of taught to send fire and run away.
Yeah, basically. They found it in the previous fight because they got a crit in perception. So it's like, well, you found the most powerful thing here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's just my thing. It's like I always feel like significant opponents, right? They need to give the players something significant.
Yeah, definitely. I'll come up with something. I want it to be something cool. But I also don't like giving away power for free, so it's going to be something that's cool, but maybe it'll hurt a bit. Well, I mean, it's not
for free.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess they earned it.
I was like, what do you mean? They like stayed up till 3 o'clock trying to desperately fight for their lives, and you're like, here, take this XP, whatever, get out of here. Like,
get going.
That's what the game said to give you.
Don't come to me for golden items. Go buy them yourself.
Yeah, I play by the rules. It's rules as written.
You know what? Someone sent me in the group chat, they sent me a message that said they had a nightmare about dragons last night, and they blamed me. It worked. That's the best compliment I've ever received on my GMing.
Yeah, you put the fear of God into them, like how I put the fear of wolves into everybody. Unlike low-level players, the fear of wolves, like.
Oh man. I am. Yeah. I'm just. I don't know. Nothing is better than that sort of experience. It was just incredible. Like just the fact that everyone was so tired, even. I don't know what would have happened if someone died there. I think it might have just like wrecked them emotionally.
Yeah, it would have been like, and then they have to retreat after that, and they lost another player to this asshole. Like, although, like, you know, I'm a little sad that his reign ended. But I guess it's kind of cool that this bad guy got his comeuppance, you know, at the hands of a PC right at the last second. You know.
Because as they were thinking of running away, I was like, oh boy, I guess he's going to be around for a while. This guy who was just this random thing that was like...
Maybe he'll actually become like a dragon. I mean, that would be pretty cool if he just... And then they're just like, he just keeps gaining power and power, and he keeps like... They keep not being able to defeat him. But not today.
Not today, Kaivath.
Kaivath.
Dragon King of the Kobold Conclave. I mean, his Kobold Conclave is now left leaderless, so I don't know. Who knows what'll happen with them?
Well, I know a certain Kobold found his way to Sarenrae, so I have a strong feeling that they're in need of some leadership, and I think I know the guy.
Just the guy for the job.
But yeah, but hey, you know, it's not my game, but I do have good ideas.
I'll see what they do. I don't know what they'll do, but
I feel like Table, right?
Tilto?
He's Tilto. Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say Table. Tilto is like my fan insert character. Like I keep because I'm pretty sure I like gave you the paladin idea like way back when like they first dropped up Tilto. So you know, if anything, hey, yeah, I think Tilto would go back and try and save his. He tried to before he didn't have precedent to, you know, take over his and steer his people in the right direction, but now he's found his path, you know what I mean? So I think he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I have the utmost faith in him. But only because I know what he's capable of.
Nice.
Yeah,
cool, I'm excited.
Me too. Hopefully they go back to that town. I don't know, I literally don't know what they're gonna do next. I hope I can figure it out. I hope I have everything prepared. But yeah, just I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. It was a really great session. I'm really happy how everything's turned out. Really happy with that spectacular ending to this boss.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh.
Now we are
I think that's a.
We can call this episode
like an hour, right?
Because I'm tired. I know we had more. I know we have more stuff we could talk about, but like, I think we can save that to slip into another episode maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good.
Okay, so
still riding high.
Yeah, I am. If you are too, and you like this story about a session, maybe hit that subscribe button so you can hear more about them. Or if you want to hear some tips, we do episodes that are mostly just like advice episodes. We're trying to alternate between them, so we don't do too many, recaps in a row. Although I think our last episode was a Lancer recap, maybe. It was. But there was, yes. We did talk a bit about like trying to generate ideas before. Also, we did interviews with NHB Shaka, writer of Field Guide to Mfukane. So if you have an interest in Lancer or any Lancer content, definitely go check out our episodes for like all of May, basically, where we did like a whole bunch of Lancer episodes, as well as a Lancer character creation video. But that was in April, not in our May, our Lancer month. But you can go check out those episodes if you want to know more about Lancer, which is one of our favorite games, or if you want to see more about Pathfinder. Definitely, if you go to our website, actually, I should mention this because I don't know if people know this. There's different posts for each episode, and each episode has a tag. So you click on that tag, and if you're interested in seeing like, well, I want to see all the Pathfinder episodes, I want to see all the Lancer episodes, you can click that tag, and it'll show you every episode where we talked about that particular thing, or like a different particular topic. You can check those if you're interested. Our website is winwithdice.ca. Additionally, we are on social media at winwithdice on Twitter. You can go check us out there, where we'll announce every time there's a stream or a new video or things like that. We've got like a whole lot of Lancer streams that people are really enjoying listening to, I think. So I'm gonna link the playlist below, just so everyone knows where it is.
Yeah, shoot, Calvin, it's crazy.
It is.
Wow.
Also, I wanted to give a shout out to, because I think I forgot to do this the last couple of weeks, shout out to USP, the Untold Stories Project, where I am monthly over there playing Bowman on their superhero game, Nether War, in Mutants and Masterminds. I'm there every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, playing Bowman, this cool archer guy who I have to... I was doing the Batman voice for him, so hopefully my throat isn't too shredded tomorrow.
I'm Bowman.
Yeah, maybe it'll be easier actually, because I've been talking so much this weekend.
Oh man, doing that Arrowverse.
Yep.
Scruff.
Yep.
He's just like, I'm pseudo Batman with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I'm going like full
man.
Arrowverse green Batman with the character.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a ton of fun. He's got a sidekick now, so hopefully, actually, because this is coming out on the Wednesday, so this is going to be coming out, like, we record before the episodes, but the last episode, which I guess will be on their Twitch, we're going to a pretty significant fight, so hopefully I survive that. I don't know. I'm sure I have a cool arrow hidden somewhere.
Yeah, it's the gun arrow, where it's just
an
like
arrow
a hand
with a gun.
with a gun.
I'm not doing the gun arrow.
Do it, damn it! It's a good idea.
But yeah, be sure to go check that out. It's a ton of fun every week. One of the highlights of my week. So be sure to go check that out. And I think that is about everything that I have to direct people to in this episode.
Yeah, just one more thing, Calvin.
There is one more thing I have to say, and it's that I want everybody out there to keep on winning with dice. And we will catch you next week.
All right.
Coming on 1 year of the podcast. See you soon.
Oh my god, that's a lot of episodes.